Boker Tov. Today's daf is Daf Vov in Nizir. We're going to start with the 9th line on the page, the 9th line of Daf Vov and Aleph, which is about halfway down the page. We're in the middle of the sugya of yesterday. We had a machlokas between Bar Pada and Rav Masna. What is a stam Nizir? The Kabbalah we have is a Nizir is 30 days. If you say I want to be a Nizir, that's 30 days. We've said that there's also a Nizir Shimshon. You could be a Nizir Shimshon because I want to be like Nizir. I want to be like Shimshon ben Manoach, the one who was married to Delilah. And the one who the Plishtim knocked his eyes out and all that. So you say you want to be a Nazir like that, so you're a Nazir for your entire life. However, you could be Metame Lemesim. Could be Metame Lemesim. That's why you have Nazirim today. That's usually Nazir Shimshon. There's also a Nazir Olam, which is a person who says basically, I want to be a Nazir, period. And then what happens? He can cut his hair every 30 days or every 12 months, depending on how, if he has heavy hair or whatever. Usually it's 30 days. We saw by Avshalom that it was 12 months. The Russians say he was a big, strong guy, so he could hold his, he could manage to wait 12 months because he was such a big, tough guy that he could have. Most people can't last much longer, so it depends on how much it lasts. But a Nazir Olam is not supposed to be Tamei Lameis, and if he becomes Tamei Lameis, he has to bring karbanos and he cuts his hair, and whenever he cuts his hair, he has to bring the 3 karbanos of a Nazir tahor. Those are the basic 3. We'll see later on. There's also something called the Nazir le'olam. On Tuesday's Dapim, we're going to talk about what's a Nazir le'olam, not a Nazir olam, but a Nazir olam. For example, let's say he says, "I want to be a." We said you could be a stam Nazir is 30 days. But let's say he wants to be for a year. So he said, "I'm a Nazir for a year." So he's a Nazir for a year. He's not supposed to be Tamei. He's not a Nazir Olam then, just Nazir for a year, Nazir for 6 months, Nazir for 60 days, for 80 days, whatever he says, that's a Nazirus, that's how much it is. If he doesn't say anything, Nazir Stam, that's 30 days. But we had a machlok, and there's also a thing called Nazir Le'olam. Let's say I want to be a Nazir for 1,000 years. He's not going to live 1,000 years. So that kind of a Nazir Le'olam means he's a Nazir forever and he can't cut his hair at all. That's the most stringent of all of them. The most stringent one, because a Nazir. Okay. Because a Nazir, what are the kinds of Nazir? We said there's a Nazirus which is at a fixed period of time, either a Stam Nazir 30 days, or 100 days, or 80 days, or a year, or 2 years, whatever he picks. That's a regular Nazir. Then there's a Nazir Shimshon, which we said is a Nazir for his whole life. However, he could be Metame Lames. Can never cut his hair, but he could be Metame Lames. So it's never over. His Nazir is never over. A Nazir Olam, he's a Nazir Olam. He's also a Nazir for his whole life, like Avshalom was, except he could cut his hair every 30 days or every 12 months whenever it gets too heavy. And then he brings karbanos. Then he brings his karbanos of Tara. And he can't be Tamei Lameis. He can't be Tamei Lameis. Nazir Shimshon could be Tamei Lameis. Then there's another thing called the Nazir Le'olam. And that's the most stringent of all. Because a Nazir Olam, as we just said, like Avshalom had the advantage that if he can cut his hair when it gets too big. He can cut his hair. Nazir Shimshon has an advantage that he could be Metame Lames. A Nazir Olam has no advantages. What is a Nazir? It's a Nazir Olam, Nazir Le'olam. If we just say I'm a Nazir Olam, okay, that's what I'm Nazir like Avshalom. I want to be a Nazir Olam. I want to be a Nazir my whole life, basically, he says. But the advantage is that he could cut his hair from time to time when it gets too heavy. If he says I'm a Nazir for 1,000 years, that's like a fixed time, but it's beyond his lifetime. It's saying like his whole life plus more. Not saying Nazir Olam for my lifetime, which is basically what it is. But if he says a Nazir for my whole lifetime or more than my lifetime for the next 150 years, not going to live 150 years, then he's got the worst of all. He can't be Tamei Lameis, he can't cut his hair, etc. No advantages at all. That's a Nazir Le'olam, which we'll talk about later on. But on today's daf, we're discussing the issue of yesterday. Today's daf is a continuation of yesterday. When we said that a Stam Nazir, he didn't say a fixed period of time, it's 30 days. Is it 30 days or is it 29? Rav Masna said it's 30 days. Rav Bar Pada says it's 29. It's based on psukim. It's really a Kabbalah. The Rambam says it's a Kabbalah. We have a Kabbalah that it's 30 days. But each one says Kadosh Yeh is Gematria 30. Bar Pada says because it says Nazir, 29 times, so we base it on that. So we have this machlokas, and that's what we're discussing now. And the Gemara yesterday and today's Gemara is going to bring a proof from the beginning of the third parak. On Daf Tesvav or Daf Tesayin, we have the beginning of the third parak has got a long Mishnah there, and we ask kashas on Rav Masna and Bapada from that Mishnah. So we're at the 9th line of Daf Vav Manav. Tanan.
Shiur that you make that it's not possible for you to do.
Right.
Okay, we say it's not a shavua.
That's right, but this is possible.
This, even though it's
difficult but possible.
1,000
Yeah.
years, it's possible.
Yeah, a lot of
say it's still.
No,
it's still
well, obviously, you're dead, you're dead, but as long as you can, as long as you can. But you could see people do go the whole lifetime without shaving, without taking a haircut. But people have a long beard, they don't shave. Same thing with the hair. It's possible to go a lifetime without cutting your hair. All right, Tanan in Gilach Yom Shishim. There, the Mishnah said, let's say he says, I want to be a Nazir twice. Right? He wants to be a Nazir twice. What's the thing saying, I want to be a Nazir for 60 days or being a Nazir twice? If I say I want to be a Nazir for 60 days, so it's one period of 60 days. At the end of 60 days, you do your kabbanas. Hopefully, you didn't become tongue in the middle. If you say you're a Nazir twice or 1 plus, like I want to be a Nazir and another day, that's like 2 Nazirs. It's good minimum is 30. So after 30 days, you got to bring your kabbanas and start all over again. That's the difference. But let's say, so it says over there, let's say, in Gilach Yom Shishim, Chaser Echad Yatsa. So what does that mean? There it says, or the Mishnah says, that if he accepted upon himself to be a Nazir twice, Mishnah on Tes Zayin, you can look at the Mishnah on Tes Zayin, first in the beginning of the third parak, it says over there, not the very beginning, but in the middle, it says, Misha Nazir Shtei Naziros. Let's say he said, I want to be a Nazir twice. So the first one, when do you shave? After you 30 days. If he said on the 31st day. Okay, and the second one on the 61st day. Why? Because the 31st day, which you're shaving for the first Naziris, you're shaving it, but you're also beginning your second Naziris. So when is the second Naziris finished, Sam? On the 60th day, right? 31st day to 60th day, and then you shave on the 61st day. Then the Mishnah went on to say, this is what we already referred to this Gemara yesterday, and yes, this Mishnah referred to in yesterday's Daf. If you shave on the first one on the 30th day, Rav Masna said that because Mitzvah Kukulo, so then so if you started if you shaved the first time on the 30th day, so you count the 30th day as the end of the first Naziris and the beginning of the second one, then you could shave the second one on the 60th day, because that's the 60th day would be like the 31st day of the second Naziris. If you shave on the 59th day, that's also okay. Why is that okay? Again, because if you shave for the first one on the 30th day, because the 30th day was Mitzvah Kukula, let's assume. Mitzvah Kukula, you finished the first day, you finished the first one and you started the second one. Then the 59th day would be the 30th day of the second one, because you started the second counting on day number 30 of the first one. Day number 30 was the beginning of the end of the first one, beginning of the second one. So if you started on the 30th day, the 59th day would be the 30th day of the second Naziris. So the Mishnah says right here, let's look at a Gemara in Daf Vav Manav, 9th line. Because the 30th day counted. Remember that we're talking about the 30th day counting for the second one. Not only was the 30th day from day one. Day one, you said I want to be a Nazir twice, right? So day one was day one. The 30th day, you shaved. Why? You're supposed to keep 30 full days. Well, Mitzvah Kukula, let's assume right now, Mitzvah Kukula. Then you started the second one on the 30th day. So, the 30th day counted towards the second one also. So, Bishlam Rav Masna Necha. Rav Masna is very good. Why? Because Rav Masna holds Mitzvah Kukulo. So, that's right. Elabar Pada Lamalu. What about I have to say it for? According to Rav Pada, what does the Mishnah have to teach me anything? According to Rav Pada, a Stam Naziris is 29 days. So if you did 29 days and you did another 29 days, how many did you do so far? 58. So on the 59th day, of course you shave. What does he have to say? If you shaved on the 59, you yotze. Oh, you yotze, you fulfill your obligation. Well, of course you did. What's the Rikish over there? So Rav Pada will answer you. That's where I got it from. How did I know? Yeah, we base it on Psukim. It says Nazir 29 times. Rav Masna says based on Kadoshia years Gematria 30. But basically, it's a Kabbalah. He says, well, I saw that Mishnah. Based on Mishnah, I said 29 days. Next question, 3 lines from the bottom of Vav and Alf. Kanan, Misha Amar Redi Nazir. Let's say I'm a Nazir. Nitmi Yom Shloshim. Now, what happens if you became Tamei on the 30th day? Now, what's the rule if you become Tamei while you're a Nazir? You went to a funeral. You gotta start all over again. You gotta fulfill. You want Tamei the base. So number one, you got to keep 7 days of Tumah, right? Your Tamei be sprinkled with the Meipar Dum on the 3rd day, and 7th day, and go to the mikvah, etc. Right? And then you start all over again. So he says, Misha Amar Redi Nazir. Let's say you got Tamei on the 30th day. On the 30th day. So Sarasakol has got to start all over again because he didn't finish his Naziris, right? Bishlam Rav Masna Nechan. That's good according to Rav Masna. Why? Because Rav Masna says that a Stam Naziris is 30 days. You didn't finish yet. Ela Bar Pada Kasha. But according to Bar Pada, you're done. You finished on the 30th. You finished on the 29th day. So what's the problem? That's the first Kasha. But before we turn the page, which you're about to turn the page, Rashi says over here, okay, this is Pachsham. But wait a minute. Didn't we just say, even according to Rav Masna, it's more difficult? Why? Because Rav Masna said Mixas Yom Kakulo. That's how Rav Masna explained these Mishnayos, right? Mixas Yom Kakulo. Yes, he says you need 30 days, but a partial is already done. So if you became Tamei on the 30th day, what's the problem? You already fulfilled your partial, so why do you start again? So Rashi says over here, the Tosfos learns a little bit differently. Rashi says that Rav Masna will say that this Tanakama over here doesn't hold a Mixim Kakulo. Rav Masna himself holds Mixim Kakulo. But this part of the Mishnah, this Tanakama, doesn't hold the Mixim Yom Kakulo. And therefore he says you need a full 30 days. According to Rav Masna, Naziris is 30 days. But Rav Masna himself holds that, okay, that it depends if you hold Mixim Kakulo or not. This Tana doesn't hold Mixim Kakulo. But according to Bar Pada, how does it work at all? Why do you say Sesar Kol? You're finished with 29 days. So Bar Pada can't explain the Tanakama, but Amalcha Bar Pada on Amid Beis now, Gemara, Amalcha Bar Pada, Aim a Seifa, look at the Seifa. I'll tell you, I'll go like Rav Eliezer. Rav Eliezer says over there in the Seifa, and you could put one finger on the Mishnah on that Tessin that we just referred to. The Mishnah goes on to say this case that Misha Amar Reini Nazir Nitma Yom Shloshim Shasakol Rav Eliezer Amar Ein Asosel L'Shiva only knocks off the 7 days. Rashi has 2 pshatim over here. The pashup pshat is Rashi seems to refer to that at the beginning of the Rashi and later on in Lish Nachmina that it's not really so surgical, but you have to wait 7 days. No. In other words, you just delayed from bringing your karbanos if you're tamei on the 30th day. The truth is, Rav Pada says you're finished on 29 days. You're done with your naziris. On the 30th day, you should bring your karbanos. Oh, but you became tamei. Well, you got to wait 7 days and purify yourself first before you can bring the naziris of tahara, before you bring the karbanos of tahara. So that's what he means to say. Look at me. So Bar Pada is saying, yeah, I really can't come out like the Tanakam, but I can come out like Rav Eliezer. Why? Because Rav Eliezer says it only knocks off 7, meaning you're really done, except you can't bring your karbanos because you're tamei right now. And if you need 30 days, like you say, right? If you say if you need to keep 30 days of Naziris, Stam Naziris is 30 days, not 29, like I Bar Pada say, so it's good to knock off the whole thing. Why? Because I don't hold the mixes Yom Kakulo, right? Nisra Kulo. So Nisra Kulo, in other words, they should all be knocked off. Why? Because if you hold like Rav Masna, not like me, that it's not Naziris is 30 days. And if you don't hold mixed Yom Kakulo, you should have to start all over again. Rav Eliezer say that it's enough just 7 days. So Rav Masna will answer that Rashi ends. So Bar Pada says, I go like Rav Eliezer. How will Rav Masna deal with Rav Eliezer? Except for Rav Eliezer, Mixim Kakulo. He'll say he holds Mixim Kakulo. In other words, according to Rav Masna, that's the machlokus over here is Mixim Kakulo. Rav Masna holds that a Stam Naziris is 30 days, not 29 days. Stam says Stam. If you said, by the way, 30 days, I'm going to be honest for 30 days, that 30 days even according to Bar Pada, right? Like we had in yesterday's Gemara. It's as if you said, I want to keep the reason, how does Bar Pada do with the other parts of the mission that we referred to, that Psalms is 30 days? It's as if you said 30 days. You say Stam, there's a Stam, it's as if you say 30 days, because if you do say 30 days, even Bar Pada holds you have to keep 30 days. But how does Rav Masna? Rav Masna says that it's Stam is also 30 days. The Tanakama here holds that what? That you need 30 days and you don't say Mixem Kakulo. And Bar Pada and Rav Eliezer will say, Ein Asosel Shiva, and he'll say that what? Mixem Kakulo, according to Rav Masna. Rav Masna will say that Rav Eliezer says it only knocks off 7. Why? Why not 30? Because 30 days, you're on the 30th day when you became Tomei, but makes Yom Kikulo, so you're already finished already. He's like the Shloshim Bina in this Akula, so Rav Blazer, but this Rav Blazer is answering according to Rav Masna. Rav Masna will say Rav Blazer also makes Yom Kikulo. So each one will learn his way. Tanan, another part of that Mishnah. Already Nazir Me'ayom. Let's say he says, I want to be a Nazir for 100 days. This is later on in the Mishnah, right? Later on that Mishnah, Tef Zayin, near the bottom of the Mishnah, I want to be a Nazir for 100 days. Everybody says 100 days is 100 days, right? Let's say he became Tamei on the 100th day, so Sresakol knocks off the whole thing. Knocks off the whole thing. Why? Because this Tana obviously holds that you got to keep 100 days, and you don't say Miksim Kukulo. Rab Lezer Omer Ein Asosha Elish Shloshim Yom knocks off 30 days. 30 days. Where does he get 30 days from? We'll see. So Isak Sav Rab Lezer Miksim Kukulo. How did Rav Masna explain? How did Rav Masna explain Rab Lezer? Rab Lezer says it only knocks off 7 days. Why only 7 days? You're still in the middle of the 30 days, the 30 days in the middle. Oh, because he owes Mixium Kukulo, so you're really done. Just have to keep 7 days because you became Tamei until you can bring your regular Kabbanas of the Nazir of the Nazir's Tatara. So if you want to say Reb Lezer owes Mixium Kukulo, how could he say it over here? It says over here in the Mishnah, when a guy says I want to be a Nazir for 100 days. So if he was Tamei even on any day during the middle, he knocks off the whole thing, even on the 100th day, because you don't say Mixium Kukulo according to the Kama. Reb Lezer Omer ain't a social shloshim, knocks off 30 days. Wait a minute. If Reb Lezer makes Yom Kukulo, Nister Shiva, so why 30 days? It should only knock off 7 days, meaning it doesn't really knock it off. You just can't bring your kabbanas. If Reb Lezer holds, Rav Masna said, Rav Masna can come out with Tanakama and Barpada cannot. But the Gemara tried to say that Rav Masna could even come out like Reb Lezer. Why? Because Reb Lezer holds Mixium Kukulo. If Reb Lezer holds Mixium Kukulo, when the guy said, I want to be a Nazir for 100 days, and he became Tomei the 100th day, so he should. It should knock off the whole thing, meaning only 7 days. He thought that the Savra Blazer Mixium Kukulo Nister Shiv. It can only knock off 7 days, meaning the days that he's Tamei, but that shouldn't knock off 30 days. So it's a kasha. Ve'ilos of the Gemara Ve'ilos of Mixium Kukulo. So Lister Kulo. Wait a minute. If he doesn't know Mixium Kukulo, if he doesn't mix Mixium Kukulo the way you're saying now, so what's the business of 30 days? If he doesn't know Mixium Kukulo, it means he has to do the whole 100 days. So it should knock off the whole thing like the Tanakama. Already knows cold. Why does Rabbi say knocks off 30 days? Should knock off the whole thing. Elos or Mixium Kukulo, Lister Kulo. Says the Gemara Lo'olam Lo Amin Mixium Kukulo. We don't mix Mixium Kukulo. And Rashi explains therefore that this Reb Lezer will only come out like Barpada, not like Bar Masna. Look at the Rashi in the 6th line in the wide lines. Now, I want to say something that I don't see in the Mefarshim. I want to say that when it says over there in the 6th line, he's really referring, it should say Ein Soser El Shiva, meaning the first Reb Lezer and the 2nd line in the Gemara. Reb Lezer Omein Soser El Shiva, when he was a Stam Nazir and he became Tamei in the 30th day, knocks off Shiva. And that's a Barpada. Barpada says, why only 7 days? In other words, why doesn't it knock it off? Because the Nazir is over after 29 days. So Bahayda Komein and Social Shoshim, Messiah Barpada, who learns Reb Lezer, holds that it's only 29 days, not 30 days. And this was saying social shoshim, Messiah Barpada is not a proof to Barpada. If you say it goes like the first, Barpada is proof from Reb Lezer Amen Social Shiv in the first case. In the second case over here, it's not a proof to Barpada, but he's explaining a Barpada. Lo'olam Larmin back in the Gemara, Lo'olam Mixium Kukulo. This is Lo'olam Larmin, we don't say Mixium Kukulo, meaning that if you don't say Mixium Kukulo, the Rav Lezer cannot come out like Rav Masna cannot like Rav Lezer, because Rav Masna holds that his Stam Nazir is 30 days, right? So like the time, if you became Tamei in the 30th day, it should knock off the whole thing. Rav Lezer should only knock off 7 days. So that means Tuma. Okay, that makes sense if you hold Mixium Kukulo. But if we're saying now that you don't say Mixium Kukulo, how do we know that you don't say Mixium Kukulo? Because Rav Lezer says in the case of the 100 days, Ein Soser El Shloshim. So therefore, I mean, that's what Rashi is referring to. It's the Haidikomer Ein Soser El Shloshim. This is Ein Shloshim, Messiah Le Barpada, but it really, that's a proof to Barpada that Rabbi Lezer cannot be holding of Mixium Kukulo, because otherwise, why does it knock off why does it knock off Shloshim? It should knock off the whole thing except for the 7 days in Mixium Kukulo. So this that he says Shloshim is a proof to Bar Pada that when Rabbi Lezer said before in the Soser Ela Shiva that he's talking about a Naziris of 29 days. And in the case over here, though, what he said, because Astam Naziris is 29 according to Bar Pada, but but in the case of the 100 days, Rabbi Lezer says in the Soser Ela Shloshim. If he would hold the Mixium Kukulo, like Rav Masa wants to say in Rabbi Lezer, if you look to Kukulo, so it shouldn't knock off 30 days. It shouldn't have 30 days. It should knock off the whole thing except for the 7 days of Tumah. Below Mixium Kukulo, back to Mixium Kukulo. So why does it knock off? If you don't say Mixium Kukulo, why does he say even 30 days? Amar Shlakish, Hanatam Rabbi Lezer. Rabbi Lezer holds the flesh like this. Amar Pasuk is Zos Taurus Anazar B'Yom Lo Made Israel. These are the rules of the Nazir on the day he finishes his Naziris. HaTorah Amar Nitma B'Yom Los Tein Lo Torahs Nazir. That if he became Tamei, he's learned that this pasuk. That if he becomes B'Yom Los in Israel, that if he becomes Tamei on the last day, give him another 30 days. If he become Tamei on the 99th day or the 98th day, right, so he knocks off the whole thing. But if he became Tamei on the last day of Naziris, you know what? You only have to do 30 days. So we're saying now that he doesn't hold the Mixium Kukulo. And really, the Naziris is a full 100 days. But there's a special dispensation. The Tanna Kama says there is no special dispensation. If you're a Nazir for 100 days and you became Tamei on the 100th day, too bad. That's it. It's all over, right? That's it. You can't do anything. You got to start all over again. But Rabbi Lezer holds that the Torah gave a dispensation. If you became Tamei on the last day, you only have to keep 30 more days. Now, if it's a Naziris of 30 days, so another 30 days, it's the same thing. But if the Naziris is 50 days or 100 days, then the advantage is that if you came Tamei on the last day, you don't have to do the whole full 50 or 100 days, only 30 days. That's his Russia. So we have this machlokas here between Rabbi Lezer, between Rav Masna and Bar Pada. Isn't it Stam Naziris? Again, if you say the amount of time, Naziris, whatever you said, 50 days, 100 days, 500 days, whatever you say, that's you have to be a full Nazir that time. If you're Nazir Shimshon, you're Nazir for life, but you can go to this funerals. If you're Nazir Olam, then you can get a haircut whenever the hair becomes too much, but you got to bring your kabbanos then. If you're a Nazir Lit Olam, like by saying, I'm going to be Nazir for the next 500 years, then you're Nazir Lit Olam, then you have no advantages at all. You can't shave, you can't get a haircut, you can't go to a funeral. That's a Nazir Lit Olam. We'll talk about that on Daf Ches. Now, but we have this machlokas between Rav Masa and Bar Pada. Is it 30 days or 29? So Gemara says, maybe this is the same as the machlokas Ram. The pasuk says by Nazir ad los hayomim, right? That's the lashon that until he has to be a Nazir until he finishes his days. Ad los hayomim. What do we mean by that? Ad los hayomim. What does that mean? Shomeni yom shnayim. Maybe it means two. The pasuk doesn't say how long you're a Nazir. Pasuk says you're a Nazir. If you're a Nazir, tells you the rules. You can't drink wine, you can't eat grapes, you can't be Matami Lameis. All those things apply, right? But it doesn't say how long. That's a Kabbalah. We have a Stam Nazir says 30 days, but you can say you can change it by saying, you can make your other adjustment or say how long you want it to be, whatever you want it to be. But if you didn't say how long you want it to be, if you just said Stam, I want to be a Nazir, so we say that's 30 days. Okay, that's 30 days, fine. Or 29 is according to Bar Pada. Pasuk is maybe it means 2 days. Yamim is minimum is just 2 days. Kadashia Garapera, like Ramasa says, that 30 days. And Gidosar Pach Mishloshim. Rabbi Yoshia says not based on gematria of Yiyah. He says Garapera, you have to grow your hair long. Long is 30 days. Gidosar considered a full growth is 30 days. Rabbi Yoshia. Rabbi Yoshia says, based on the pasuk Kadashia Gadel Pera, that it's got to be 30 days. Rabbi Omer, the gears of Rabbi, not Rabbi Yonason, but throughout here it says Rabbi. Rabbi Omer, you don't need that. Until the days are fulfilled. What are the days? What are days that have to be filled? What days have to be filled? You know what days have to be filled? The days of the month. Why? Because a month is really how many days? 29, let's say 29 and a half. It's really 29 days, 5 hours, blah, 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 and all that. But it's 29 days. But you can't have a day, you can't have a month You can't have a partial day. Half the day is this day, half the day is a different day. So therefore, we have to have sometimes 29 days, sometimes 30 days, right? That's how you that's how you do the calendar. So what is it? Which day is it that needs to be fulfilled? Haveyomer Shloshim. It's the days of 30. It's the month. That the 30th day has to be fulfilled because sometimes it's 29 days, sometimes it's 30 days. So we have to make it up. We have to fill it up. So therefore, my love, Rav Masna, Rav Moshe, Moshe, that's 30 days. Because Rav Yoshi says, Gidol Sar, how long is a Nazir? It's not 2 days. It could be 2 days. Yom is 2 days. No. I'm low saying because it's Gadel Pera till your hair is long. That's 30 days. So Rav Masna goes like Rav Yoshi. That's clear. And Barpada, who says 29 days, will go to Rav Yonason. Why? Because he says, which are the days that need to be fulfilled? It's the days of 30, which is really 29 days, which every once in a while you have to fill up and turn it into a 30th day month so that the calendar comes out. So we have a calendar. So my love, Rav Masna, Rav Yoshi, Rav Pada, so this machlokas amaram between Rav Masna and Rav Pada goes like the machlokas panam between Rebbe and Rav Yoshia. Rav Masna, no. So the truth is, there's no way that Bar Pada can come out like Tanakama, like Rav Yoshia, because Bar Pada says a month, Nizir says 29 days, Rav Yoshia says it's 30 days, because Gidol Sar is not less than 30 days. But Rav Masna could come out like both. Everybody says you need 30 days. Here's the machlokes, ba'ad b'chlal pligi. When the Torah says ad, does that mean ad? We have this argument when it comes to people also, right? You have to, when you make a contract, you say something, you should say until this day, until and including, right? Because until this day, does it include that last day or not? When the Torah says ad, is ad b'chlal, ad b'chlal, you have this throughout Shas. When it says ad melos yamim, until melos yamim, does it include the last day or not? Ad b'chlal b'chligi. Rav Yosha savar ad b'chlal. You know what? When it says ad melos, ad means not including the last day. Therefore, you have to come on to Gadol Pera to tell me that Gadol Pera is not less than 30 days. If we just say ad melos, I would say maybe until the 30th day, not including the 30th day. Gadol Pera teaches me including the 30th day. Rabbi Yonason or Rebbe Savar ad abachlal. No, when he talks about ad melos, it means up until the 30th day, including the 30th day, because Ramasa holds everybody. Ramasa holds it's 30 days. Everybody comes out like me. Except Rebbe says you don't have to come on to Gadol Pera. It says ad melos until is 30 days. How do I know that it's 30 days? Based on Yiyah, based on Gadol Pera, based on Gadol Pera. But I don't have to come on to the pasuk for the 30th day because I don't know. I hold of ad b'chlal. So when I say it's 30 days, let's say based on the Kabbalah or based on Yiyah, it already includes the 30 days. So therefore, if Masa come out like everybody, but Bar Pada can only come out like the second sheet, like Rebbe, that you can explain it, that it means what days need fulfillment. A day that's 29 days. 29 days needs fulfillment, sometimes need to be fulfilled because it's only month is 29 and a half and you have to make it 30. So he can give that drasha. So Bar Pada can come out like Rebbe, but Rebbe can come out like Rav Masna also. Rav Masna says he also holds this 30 days. He just says you don't need any drasha. Ad b'chlal means 30 days until the 30th days, including the 30th day. But the Tanakama, Rav Yoshia, holds until the 30th day, would not include the 30th day except for the words of Gadol Pera. So he can come out like him too, even though they don't bring the drasha of Yiyeh, of Gematria being 30, because these are basically asmachtas that you base the pasuk on. But the real question is the Kabbalah we added that a stam Nizir is 30 days. And it's not 15 days, not 20 days, it's 30 days. Amar Mar, Elu, Hein Yomim Shetzrichim Malos. What are the days that have to be filled? Havyom Shloshim. That was the drasha of Rebbe, or of Yonason in the Gemara of Rebbe, that it's 29 days, right? Because it's a day of 29 days that's filled every once in a while with the 30th day. Sometimes you make it a 30th day, you make it that 29th day, which is a partial, you make that sometimes into the 30th day. You add a day to it, so you have a full month. Name of Shabbos. Shabbos also, you have a 6-day week and you add on Shabbos to make it 7. Name of Shabbos, maybe that's what we're referring to. How do you know that it's referring to 29 days or 30 days? Besides the says Nazir 29 times, besides that it's Yi as Gematria 30, besides the Gadol Para, which makes it 30, this drasha of Rebbe is that which day is it that needs fulfillment? The 29th day, because sometimes it's 29 and a half, and sometimes you got to make it 30, it needs fulfillment. Maybe it's Shabbos, maybe Stam Nizir is a week. That would be a lot easier, just be a Nazir for a week. That I can handle. Maybe a month I can't, maybe a week I could. Because Shabbos Migicha Zerusa, Is it missing sometimes? Shabbos is every week, the same thing. 6 days of Chol, 1 day of Shabbos. It says Rashi at the bottom page, all weeks are the same. But a month, sometimes a month is chaser. It's only 29 days because it's 29 and a half days. Astronomically, it's 29 and a half days. So how do you, and you can't have a day, half a day. So you got to fulfill it. Sometimes it's 29 days, sometimes it's 3 days. That's what the pasuk is teaching me, that we're speaking about a month. So we have different allusions. You have the allusion to 30 days from Yiyah. You have the allusion to 30 days from Gadol Pera. You have the allusion to 29 days from Nazir, saying, it says Nazir, a lashon of Nazir 29 times. And you have this drasha of Ad Melos, of what day needs to be fulfilled. That's the 29th day. That's how Bar Pada learns in Rebbe. But of course, Rav Masa says, no, he's not talking about it at all. And Ad Melos, and Ad is Ad B'chlal, including the 30 days, even if he doesn't know the Gadol Pera, maybe based on year, based on the Kabbalah. Says the Gemara, Be'ema, on the top of Zion, Be'ema Shana, maybe means a year, because a year isn't always 354 days. Sometimes it's 353, sometimes it's 355. So maybe that needs to be fulfilled. The answer is Mima Mina Yomi, Be'ema Shana, Mima Yomi. We don't count a year by days. What does it say? The pasuk says Ad Melos Hayamim, the days. We count the days. So you count days into a week, you count days into a month. You don't count days into a year. B'harabbanan the Kisri, they say Ninayin Shein Monin Yom L'Shan. We don't count a year by number of days. We count months into a year below Yom L'Shan. We count 12 months or 13 months into a year, but when we count a year, we don't count it by days. Yes, of course, it comes out to 354 or 353 or 355 or 380 odd days if you have an Iber or a leap year, right, with an extra month of Adar. But we don't count month. So therefore, when it says Ad Melos Hayamim, we're fulfilling the days. We're fulfilling the days of the month, which has 29 days. All right. The next 2 days, Daf Zayin and Daf Ches will be on the podcast. There won't be a live shiur on Daf tomorrow and Monday and Tuesday. There won't be a live shiur. Each day starts with a Mishnah, so it's pretty straightforward. They'll be on the podcast. The next live shiur here will be on Wednesday. On Wednesday, Daf Tes, where we start the second parak. And on Daf Ches, you'll see that discussion about that you can have not only a Nazir Stam, a fixed amount of time, not only a Nazir Shimshon, not only a Nazir Olam, but a Nazir Olam, which has all the stringencies. When you become a Nazir, let's say for 500 years, which is really one long Nazirus. So it's not a Nazir Olam which you could shave when it gets heavy. You can't shave, and you can't drink wine, and you can't be coming to the mace. That's a Nazir Olam, which we'll see on Daf Ches. The next live shiur will be on Daf Tes on Wednesday morning or Tuesday night, New York time. Shavua Tov to everybody.
Join you then, so have a good time. Take care, everyone. Thanks, Hashem.